everyone, Catweazle here, welcome to the channel and welcome to our new playthrough, which is Sword and Sorcery and Immortal Souls. Yes, a dungeon crawler, we love them. Now, this is based on Galaxy Defenders, a game by Anares Games. This is also by Anares Games, unsurprisingly, and it's sort of their fantasy version of it. I've always liked the look of Galaxy Defenders, but never got round to actually buying it or anything, and then the Kickstarter for Sword and Sorcery came out about a couple of years ago and I jumped on it, got everything, and yes, it's been on my shelf of shame and I've only just got round to playing it. But anybody out there who wants to learn how to play it, plenty of great videos out there, go and check them out. I think Doug Herring's done one, Colin at One Stop Shop's done one, and yes, Rolling Solo, he's done one. Loads of them have done them. Go and check those for the rules, because I'm rubbish, okay? Because, yes, this is quite a complicated game in that there are a lot of rules, just like Galaxy Defender. Have a look at this slab of a rule book. Yes, there's loads of things in here. Now, I have read it, but there is absolutely no way on this earth that I'm going to recall or remember everything that's in here. So don't even expect me to. I am going to make mistakes. You're going to have to get over it. But saying that, if you spot them, please let me know and I'll do what I always do, which is I will try and correct them before the next episode. So please keep an eye out for any errors. You will be helping me out and you'll be helping out anybody who is watching. So, I'm going to make errors. As I always say, and it's worth reiterating, anybody who's watching this, you know, and you've just got the game, just dive in. Don't worry about making errors. I'm not going to worry about making errors. I'm just going to get on with it. As I say, you know, if you find you've done something wrong, then just correct it and then carry on next time doing it correctly. That's the only way to go. Do not beat yourself up if you get a rule wrong. I certainly won't. So, having gone through that, having covered my ass, we'll carry on. Now, as you can see, we've already done quite a bit of the setup here. We're going to finish off a couple of things that need randomising, and then we'll get into the game. We'll go through the heroes we've chosen, all that sort of stuff, then we'll be ready to rock and roll next episode. Alright, there are a couple of things in this shot that are not in the game, and I'll just go through them quickly. You will not get this funky black dice in the game. You'll see what it is for shortly, but it's just to help with the randomisation of some of the components, so don't worry about that. The other thing you will see are all these coloured stands. Anybody who watches my videos will have seen these many times, and they're back. What are they doing here? Well, they're just serving as reminders. Now, we've got a beautiful modular board here, which has been, you know, correctly made. Unlike the game I've just finished playing, this is a delight to put together. Not too tight. Fantastic. The cardboard's really good quality, and the artwork on it is fantastic. But, like anything that's got great artwork on it, it's a little bit busy. I do not have the best eyesight in the world. And that means things like tokens, they can escape me. But if I put these little coloured markers all around the map, then I know there's something there, and that's all they're for. For example, this green marker is showing me that there is a shrine in here. So I know it's there. And there's a waypoint marker there. Waypoint markers are yellow, so I know there's got to be one here, one here, one here, and one here. So while I'm barreling through, I go, oh yes, there's a waypoint marker there. So, for example, there's another shrine marker here, and there is a sort of stash marker up there. I think that green marker there is I think it's a spawn point, but it's not quite in use at this part of the game. And there's another spawn point that is in use up there. The red markers are where the enemies are going. So all of this just means while we're travelling through the dungeon, these little reminders will go, oh yes, there's a monster there, or there's a spawn point there, or there's a waypoint there. Just helps me out. There are a couple of cards that are on the board. These are story events. It's okay the face up because it doesn't actually tell you what's happening. It's just a reminder. So we'll actually go to something called the Book of Secret. Well, the storybook, sorry. We'll actually go into the storybook and see what kicks in. So having them face up is perfectly fine. And it's better than having them face down for me, because once you put them down, they're not quite as noticeable if you can see. Whereas if you put them this way up, they stand out like dog's balls. There we go. So we've popped all those on. So that saved a lot of hassle. And what you do then is, talking of the storybook, you have a look at the storybook. This is the storybook. Everything is like just fabulous, lovely quality. And this is the prologue, which is Act 1, Quest 1. I won't read through the introduction. Standalone quest value. Well, what happens here is you can pick any quest to play. The assumption is you'll do the campaign and start at the prologue, but you know what? You might decide, all right, I'll do Quest 5. Now, if you just decide to do Quest 5 as a standalone, then what would happen is you would get soul points, crowns, treasures, and soul weapons. Well, maybe, to start with. It's just to take into account that you haven't done the campaign, because if you'd done all the quests up to Quest 5, for example, then you'd have money. You'd probably have soul points, you'd have some treasures, and you may even have a soul weapon. So it's just to take into account that you're doing a standalone quest and you need bumping up because you haven't done the previous quests. As it stands, because this is the very first quest, you don't get any of that, so we can ignore it. Enemy deck. Now, each quest will have a set of enemies, and this just tells you how many you need and which ones. So we need 2 green gremlins and 2 blue gremlins, and we've pulled those out. Here they are. So this is the deck that we've got of gremlins. Now we need to shuffle these, bit of a 4-card shuffle, which is pretty boring, but you don't have to do it all the time, fortunately. So there we go, we'll whiz these around, and that's it. So that is the enemy deck. Now this is one of the set of cards that you get. You can see all the other cards up there in a very nice cardboard holder, which is an excellent idea. You actually get it, you know, with all the cardboard for your maps and stuff, and they added a couple of extra sheets and you can make your own card holder. It's an excellent idea. More games should do that. I know a few games do it, but more games should do it. In fact, again, talking of a playthrough I've just done, they do it with just one deck for the Mythos cards. Well, they should have done that as well, because it's just such a time saver having these. I have the obviously the acrylic business card holders, which help me out, but if more games had this, it'd just be fabulous. And yeah, so this is our enemy deck, and we'll put it in the enemy deck thing. I'll go through all the other cards that are in there when we get to them, rather than going through it in this introductory episode. It's just easier to do it as we go along. Okay, so that is the enemies sorted out. After the enemies, we have to do the event deck, which is down here. 2-card shuffling, we love it, and it's coming up. So the first card we're going to get is the Night card. And this is off to one side, because until the game tells us otherwise, it's going to be night time. So what you have to do is you have to have a look at this card. It says, read and apply the night event effects described in the storybook. And we shift all used powers, that symbol means powers, back 1 time. You'll see what that is. It's just when you exhaust a power, sometimes you have to exhaust it for like 3 rounds or 2 rounds or 1 round. It's just telling us whatever that exhaust is, you're going to add an extra round to it. That's basically what I mean. So the night card is ready to rock and roll. We start the game with that in play. I'll explain what this is, because if we have a look at the storybook, Night, Event 5, During the night, each attack performed by the heroes causes -1 hit. So because it's night time, if we do 2 hits, we're only going to do 1 hit. So that's what all that this means. It's just a reminder for me. Again, this is a -1 hit token. Just put it on a little stand and I pop it under there, and then I know it's night time and all of our heroes are going to get -1 hit. The enemies are not going to get -1 hit, just the heroes. That's the way it goes in this game. So we've put night up there. Now, what it says next is 14 goes next. So we've got card 14. So that is going to be our top card in the event deck we're going to put here. Then we've got 6 and 9, which are Carnage and Anti-Magic Wind. We won't look at them now. We'll just see it. So I'm doing this blind, and we're doing 2 card shuffling, which is even worse than 3. But now you see why I want this die. All this die is going to do is, that is going to be 1 to 3, and this one is going to be 4 to 6. So we've got a 3, so this is the card that is going to go under that one, and then it's going to be this one. So it's just a bit of extra randomisation. Then we've got 18. 18 we don't have to shuffle, it just goes underneath. Then we've got 8 and 11. We're going to do the same with 8 and 11. And there we go. 1 to 3, 4 to 6. Got 3 again, so that is the one going under there, and that is going to be our final event card. Then what we do is we'll pop them on there. Now with events, there is a special way that you reveal them. Essentially you'll start with the deck like this, where the event is not showing. Next round we will turn the top event card round and deal with whatever's written on it. Then the round after that you discard that and you get to the next event card that is face down. Then the round after that you will turn it over. So essentially you get an event card once every 2 rounds. So, and that's your timer. Once you get to the end and discard the last one, you've run out of time and you've lost. So that's our timer. And you'll see that in action as we actually play. Okay, having done that, the other thing we need to do is something that I've already done. You need to place the story events out. It mentions on the storybook when it shows you how to set everything out, it shows you where the story event goes. There's one here at the entrance to this sort of courtyard, and there's one here in the cathedral. So we've placed those. You can have them face up, as I've mentioned, because you actually have to have a read in the storybook or the Book of Secrets exactly what happens, so you can keep them face up. There's no particular, spoilers on these cards. Alright, so we've put them in place. And is there anything else we need to do? Well, yes, we need to put some waypoints out. Now, 2 of the waypoints, waypoint 1, which is up here, and waypoint 2, which is down here, they're specified. We just plonk those in there, job done. However, 3 and 4, which are these 2, can either go here or in the corner over there, and it's random. So what we're going to do is we're going to mess around. I've forgotten which one's which on these, but it doesn't matter anyway, because we're going to do a 1 to 3 and a 4 to 6. Right, 5. So this one is going to go down here, and the other one is going to go up here. So they have been randomised. Great stuff. Now, what we've got here are things called shadow tokens, and they're next. Now, the shadow tokens are generally the enemies. We have a few different types here. We've got a double. So if we ever pull this token, flick it over, we get 2 enemies. Bad. And this is a single enemy, which are the vast majority of these tokens. And then there's another one, yes, this one, which is a innocent bystander. So if you pull one of these, you just ignore it, yeah? It's just some poor unfortunate who's fleeing the Gremlins. Now, the way these are split up is we have one double enemy, we have one innocent bystander, and the rest are single enemies. Now, we only use 5 of these, so what we've got to do is mix them up, like so. And then I think what we'll do is we'll use our good old die again. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We'll roll a die, and whichever number comes up, that'll be the token that we discard. If I can get it into the dice tower. 4. So this is the one that we're not going to use. So this is a bit of randomisation, that any time you play this quest, obviously it'd be slightly different. Not greatly different, but slightly different. So we've got all these chaps here. Those are the ones we're going to use. So where we've got the red stands, this is where they go. So we'll keep rolling. 5, so that's this one. That's going to be first one. It's going to go here. Then keep rolling. 3, that's the next one. There we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6, that will go here. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's that one, which will go there. And then our final one, which is the only one remaining, goes here. So there we go. We've placed all of our shadow tokens. Hopefully, the one we got rid of had the 2 enemies on, and one of the ones that we kept had the innocent bystander on. That'll help us out a great deal. But we'll have to see. Now, what are these 3 tokens here? Well, these are treasure chests. And we have a treasure chest in our particular prologue, which is brilliant. Here, as you can see, I've got the Kickstarter stuff. So, popped it in there, and it'll go here. But all these chests have different things. Yeah, it can either be 100 crowns, a treasure, a single treasure, or double treasure, which is obviously the one we want. So what we've got to do here is we've got to mess these up, so we don't know which is which, and then we're going to use the good old die again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 3, so it's the middle one. So just plonk that under there, and then at some point, hopefully, we'll get to turn that over so we can get rid of these. We won't be using those. So that is basically the setup. The only other thing we've had to do is place the doors. These are the doors that we got with the Kickstarter. If you don't have the Kickstarter, you will get like cardboard equivalents that you can put into a stand that are in the normal game. Yeah. But these are the doors. These are the doors that you don't have to bother bashing in. These are open. You just open these as a free action. So there's 2 of them. There's one here, and there's one here. And there's also another type of door. And this door has a lock on it. Yes, this door is locked. So, unsurprisingly, that is there, stopping you getting into the chest as easily. The chest is also locked. So you have to spend actions to sort of bash the door in and then bash the treasure chest open in order to find out what goodies lie inside. Alright, so I think that is the whole setup. We are ready to rock and roll as regards that. Don't think there is anything else. Oh, one thing to mention as regards scaling. Let's have a look at the storybook. And what we've got here is like an example of the scaling. 2 to 3 heroes. We're going to have 3 heroes. So we get the 1 citizen, 4 enemies, 2 enemies. But if we were playing 4 to 5 heroes, we'd get a single citizen, we'd get 6 single enemies, and we'd get 2 of the double enemies. Yeah, so it's just an example of the scaling. The story events here are out of the Book of Secrets. You'll see that later on. That's over here. And it just tells you when you get to each of these tokens which story event relates to which part of the Book of Secrets, and then you go and read that particular section. So you've got it for the story events and you've got it for the waypoints. Yeah, you just go read that part of the Book of Secrets once you get to it. Alright, so I think that's it. I don't think there's anything else particular to go through. And, oh yes, we've got some special quest rules, may as well go through that. Emporium. Now, the Emporium is like where you get all your equipment from. Now, we cannot visit the Emporium before this quest because it's the start. Now, that means we'll have absolutely no equipment whatsoever, but it's not a big problem. The Prologue will deal with that, so don't worry about it. Now, the Day Event 4 card, which we currently don't have, but it may well, this is a hint, it may well turn up during the quest. I hope so anyway. There's no additional effects. It just means it's daytime, but it does mean you're not suffering any penalties. Night, as we mentioned, during the night, each attack performed by the heroes causes 1 less hit. So at least we'll lose that penalty should daylight break. Now, to fail the quest fails if the last event card is discarded. I mentioned that before. Or all heroes are ghost souls. See paragraph 1.13. Yes, as regards character death, which I'll go through quickly now. If you die, in order to keep you in the game, you turn into a ghost. And the flip side of your character card will show your ghost form and what you can do in the ghost form. It's very clever. Keeps you in the game. And then if you get to a shrine or this... you know, you have a hero with a power or, you know, something else, a card effect, you can be resurrected and you just come back as your normal self. I believe you lose a soul rank though, depending on quite how you're resurrected and stuff. And if you're in a ghost form at the end of a quest, but say the others aren't and you succeed at your quest, before the next quest you are allowed to turn over and be resurrected in the meantime. But other than that, in the actual game itself, if you turn into a ghost, then you have to find a shrine or you have to be resurrected by another character somehow, or some card effect or whatever. Okay, so I've quickly gone through that. Is there anything I haven't gone through? Here are the dice. You have red and blue dice. Anybody who's played Galaxy Defenders has seen these before. Beautiful. They are just beautiful looking dice. Engraved properly, none of your room-bound 3rd edition crap. These are really, really nice. They are quite small, so I will be zooming in. 1, so you can see them, but 2, so I can see them. But as you can see, they are quite spectacular. I've got quite a few here because I got a couple of extra packs. You know how much I like my dice. Because I like to swap out the ones which are not performing and put them in a naughty corner. So that's why I need a few. If you only had 1 pack, I wouldn't particularly be able to do that. We have a nice drawstring bag. I've got 2 of these actually. I don't know how I ended up with 2, but I've got 2. And in here we have some things called critical tokens. So we'll go through them as and when, you know, we have to use them. But that's what's in here. They're called critical tokens. We've got the good old dice tower and the dice cup. We love it. And, oh yes, minis. So let's have a look at our gremlins. So here is a green gremlin. And I do like these. These are really, really nice minis. And I may well paint them at some point. And yeah, so green plastic, exactly the same for the blue. And there's even a red boss gremlin. These are exactly the same, really good quality. We're starting with the gremlins because they're like the easiest monster. But those are all ready to bounce out. Oh, another thing. Each monster group has its own AI card. So here's the one for the green gremlins. And, you know, it just gives you a lot of details, like it's a dexterity monster. and this means it will, this is like it's, you know, who it's going to target. It will target the person with the most money. This is a crown symbol. You have what it'll do at various ranges. That's what these curly brackets mean. So at 0 range, it will attack with claws, that sort of thing. And it has some, how will it attack, and, you know, special abilities. All those are down here. It's a thief. If claws attack deals damage, discard a random coin from the targeted hero's inventory, or if empty from the target's area. Yeah. It'll also banding 1. If enemies control its area, claws attack inflicts +1 damage. So if the gremlins are controlling an area, and they will do +1 damage, which is pretty bad. They've got power, evil force, activate this enemy. So activate if there's an evil force. And down here, it just gives you details of their attack. So the claws, those are 2 red dice. You roll 2 red dice for a claw attack. Stone, which is one of its ranged attacks up here, it just automatically does 2 damage. So do not do not stay at range with these guys, because they will just automatically do 2 damage, and you don't start with a lot of health, so you need to close with them quickly. Fortunately, they want to close with you as well, so a lot of this will be they will try and get close, but medium range they will attack with stones, so try and avoid that if you can. Right, so these are the green ones. There's a blue one as well, which is slightly different. So here we are. They attack with they attack people with the most crowns as well. But as you can see, it's all set out in a very similar manner. They have a spines attack as well. The spiny, and those spines, right, if you actually do some damage on these guys, they will hit you back. So you've got to bear that in mind as well. So these are like the AI cards for the monsters. Again, very good tarot sized cards. Very impressed with them. And one over there is a, I think that's the red gremlins one. I'm not sure if the red gremlin does come out in this particular scenario. It hasn't told me to take the enemy card out, but I've got it off to one side just in case. I always have a feeling, you know, that it might come out because they normally have a boss monster, don't they? No matter what level of quest you're doing, normally at the end in these dungeon crawler games there's a boss. So perhaps the red gremlin is the boss, which is why I've left his miniature out and I've got his enemy card out somewhere. Right, so that is the enemies chatted about. I think we've gone through everything. Oh, these are the powers, just in the acrylic business card holders here. These are the powers of the heroes that we've chosen. Obviously, we're not going to use every single power, so I've just kept them off to one side for when we level up. And over here, now the very end tray, the very end of the tray there, that is normally where you keep your Emporium items. I've just got the stash ones in there. You'll see what those are very shortly. Next to it, I've got the rest of the Emporium cards. The reason I've split them out is the Emporium is like a shop, so you're not sort of pulling off the top. You can actually go through the whole Emporium to find your cards, in which case it's just a lot easier for me splitting them out like this. So I've split them out into armour and consumables and weapons and just general helpful bits of tat. So because it's all split up that way, I don't have to go through, you know, a massive deck looking for something. If I want a healing potion, I know it's in the potions part. Yeah, so it's just a time saver. So the actual part of the tray that I put together with the game, that's just got the stash weapons in it. The stash weapons you can take any time, so long as your hero is able to use a particular weapon or a particular armour. Those are always available for free, and you'll see that during the game when we get started. Alright, so quickly gone through the board and the setup. We're ready to rock and roll, apart from, oh yes, we need to have a look at our heroes, don't we? So let's pop across and see them. And here we are with our first hero, who is Icarus. Knight of the White Rose. Doesn't he look splendid? Let's have a quick look at his miniature. So as you can see, look at that on the shield, his rose on the shield there. He looks a proper hard ass, doesn't he? So he's our knight character. We'll put him back on the board. And this is his sort of player sheet. Couple of things here. First of all, this down at the bottom, this gem thing. Well, this is just whether you've gone or not. So when he's ready to go, it's that side. When he's gone, you just flip it over. Exactly the sort of thing I will forget to do. But a good idea. Because any of these heroes can go in any order. So it's a good way to track whether somebody has gone or not. Now, the other thing at the top, this is called a soul gem. And it tracks your soul rank. So the number at the top there, that number 1, that's his soul rank. So essentially level 1. Off here, just to the side, the heart symbol, that's his health. So he's a health of 6. The red fist is his combat, so he has 1 attack. The yellow symbol is the number of actions he can take. He can take 1 action. And the sort of Celtic scrollwork symbol there, that is the number of powers he has. He only has 1 power. Now, if that particular number had an asterisk after it, then he would also get a talent. But as it stands, he hasn't got a talent yet. As you increase your soul rank, so here's soul rank 2, you can see that 1 has now got an asterisk after it. He would get a talent. He would also get 8 health. His attacks would still be 1, but he would get 2 actions in a round as well. So that just goes to show you how that works. You'll see it more in the game. Now you can flip these over and you'll see it's slightly different. Well, this is the chaos side of the character. There is a law side and there is a chaos side. Now there are some neutral characters in the game. In fact, you're going to see one shortly. But generally, characters have chaos sides and lawful sides. This is his chaos side. We're being lawful because we're goody two-shoes. So there he is, right? So that is Icarus of the White Rose as opposed to Icarus of the Black Rose. This is his card. As you can see, we've got some white wings here. That denotes this card as being his lawful card. Now, a couple of things on the card. Obviously, it's got his name and it's got his title, and you can see this S symbol up here in the top right hand corner. That means he's a strength based character. So it's your basic melee warrior type, and this is used a lot on Emporium items. So if it's an Emporium item's just got an S on it, it just means characters like Icarus can use it. Yeah. He has an ability that comes with him, and it is Taunt. There's a blue shield there, which is a reaction. I think you can sort of do this anytime. And the number in curly brackets means it works up to 3 sort of map segments away. So once per round, you become the preferred victim of target enemy until the end of its activation. Basically, you start going yeah, 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 and pulling your tongue out at it, and it comes after you, which is very useful if you're a tank. At the bottom here, the backpack symbol means, well, he can carry 2 items in his backpack. His save is a pentacle symbol, so if we roll dice and he requires a save, we need to roll a pentacle. And the boot with a 3 next to it means he can move 3. Quite straightforward. So pop that back there. Just to show you his chaos. That's his chaos version, Knight of the Black Rose. As you can see, he's now got some like black daggers underneath, and he's got some nifty black armour, and he becomes merciless. So you do get different different abilities, whether you're chaos or law. Just to quickly show you, if I flip it over, this is the ghost side, so ghost form, and tells you what you can do after you've been killed and you're a ghost. So you can still help out your companions, and it means you're not out the game. So something similar on the side of the actual version we are using. And because he's got 1 power, that means we get to pick one. So out of his powers, we get to pick any. Now, we could have picked, he says, nearly throwing it, we could have picked a soul rank 7 power. Wouldn't have been very clever because we couldn't use it. So what we do is obviously we pick a power that's got a 1 on it, and then he can use it. So he can use Mighty Presence, that's the one we've picked. So unless knocked over, you count as 2 figures for controlling or dominating your area. This is extremely useful. You'll see this during the game. I'll go through controlling and dominating areas as we play, but this is an excellent, excellent power for Icarus. So we'll plonk that there. Now the powers go on this side. If we ever use them, then you've got to flip them over. And you've got like 1 timer, 2 timer, 3 timer, 4. And the way that these work are, obviously, it tells you what the cooldown is. So if it was a timer of 4, like that, then every round you'd move it round to 3. Then you'd move it round to 2. Then you'd move it round to 1. And then finally you'd refresh it. So that's how that works. Again, mechanic used in many games. So that's how that works out. Over on this side, we'd put equipment. So remember, he's got a backpack limit of 2, so he can have 2 items in here. And up here, you'll put things like armour and weapons. We haven't got any yet, but don't worry about that. It's not quite going to be a really short game. We are going to get some weapons, so don't worry about it. And this dice, yes, it's just to record that he is on 6 health. So pop that there. It's just a little easier to see than messing around with the cardboard tokens. We'll use the cardboard tokens for the enemies on the board. But as regards Icarus and our other heroes, we'll just use a health die like that. So he has got 6 health. Right, that's Icarus. Let's have a look at our next hero. And here we are with our second hero, who is Thorgar, the Cleric. Yes, again, he's lawful. Now, with lawful and chaotics, they can't be together. So if you've got a lawful character, you will have to have other characters that are either lawful or neutral. Similar with chaos, you've got to have chaos characters or neutral characters. Yep. So you can't have chaos and law together. So we've got Thorgar as a cleric. That's fine because we need a healer. As you can see, dwarven hardass. And he's got divine aid, so he can help people within 3 tiles. Once per round, target hero can re-roll up to 1 die per soul rank divided by 2. Now, you always round up in this game, so even though we're level 1, it's level 1 divided by 2 is 0.5, round up 1. So still once per round we can use divine aid. He's got a backpack of 3. He saves on a pentacle as well, and he's got 3 movement. So that's Thorgar. He's got an F up here. That means he's a faith-based character. And again, you'll see these on things like Emporium items, where it'll say, you know, a faith person can't use it, that sort of thing. So that is Thorgar. I'll put him down there. As regards his soul gem, soul rank 1. Health 6, gets 1 attack, he's got 1 action per round, and he's got 1 power. Pop him back in there. I'll put his health die there. What power did he choose? Well, he chose Heal Wounds. So within 1 tile, as an action, he can heal hit points to a target hero. At level 1, which he is, soul rank 1, he can heal 2 hit points. And then you flip this over, it's got 1 timer of 1, so just for 1 round, and then it'll flip back. Yeah, so that is Thorgar. And doesn't he look funky? Let's have a look at his mini. There he is. These minis are very, very nice indeed. I really will have to paint them. So he looks, he's a beast. So that is him. We'll plonk him back up here at the starting area, and let's have a look at our final hero. And here we are with our final hero, who is our elf archer. So there he is, Lagon the archer. That is what we've picked for him. So yes, another very cool mini. We'll put that back up here with his companions, and let's have a look at him. So Lagon the archer, he's dexterity based, yeah. And as you can see here, he's got a silver wing, and he's got one of these dark blades. That means he's a neutral character, yeah. So he's okay with our lawful chaps. He'd also be okay in a chaos party. He's just neutral. And as an action, he can use twin arrows. Once per round, when you perform an attack with a bow, perform an extra attack with a bow against another enemy. But it has to be against another enemy. You can't sort of pump 2 arrows into the same enemy. He's got a backpack limit of 3. He saves on a hit. So when he rolls a dice, he needs that symbol to save. And he also has got 3 movement. So we'll pop him in there. Let's have a look at his soul gem. So soul rank 1. He has 5 health. He also has 1 attack per turn. He has 1 action per turn, and he gets 1 power. So none of our heroes actually have a talent yet. But as you can see, when you start like whizzing round, well, he doesn't. The 3rd soul rank, he gets a talent, but they are there. They are available as you level up. So that's him. And that's his soul gem. We'll pop that on there. And what is the power that he has? It's the power! It is Precise Strike. Yep. So it's an action. Your next attack inflicts, at level 1, a critical. So if he hits, he will get a critical on the next attack, which is fantastic. Again, it's got a timer of 1. When we get to level 3 though, he will actually get +1 hit and a critical, and then he'll get +2 hits and a critical at the 5th rank. So quite a strong card, and just the sort of card you need for an archer, I think. So that is Lagon, and those are our chaps who are going to go through this dungeon. I've basically gone with, you know, obviously your tank, your healer, and a ranged attack. Now I could have used, for ranged, I could have used a magic user, of which there are a couple, but I've gone with the archer because there is, I think there is some sort of event that dampens magic. So let's avoid that and let's just use the archer, shall we? Alright, now we'll use Lagon as an example. As you can see, there's the chaos version of him, and we've got all of these powers that you can get. But with the lawful and chaotic people, what you find is you can't use every power. Lagon can use all these powers because he's neutral, yeah. But if we have a look at Icarus, for example, you can use that one because it's neutral. Use that because it's neutral. Use that because it's neutral. All these he can use because they're neutral. This one, however, he can only use as a lawful, yeah. This one he can only use as chaos. So if you're lawful or chaos, when you make that decision, it will affect which powers you can use. Yeah, again, there's a lawful power. If he was a chaos version, if he was the Knight of the Black Rose, he couldn't use that lawful power. So that's something to bear in mind while you're playing. Exactly the same for Thorgar, because we are playing a lawful version of Thorgar, the Cleric version. Alright, so those are our heroes. We've gone through setup. All that remains is to start the game. So I hope that you will join me next time. As I say, there's still a lot of things that we need to go through, but it's just easier to do that while we play. things like combat and all the rest of it. You'll see that play out as we actually play the game, and we will do that next time. So thank you so much for watching. Thanks for all the subscriptions, for all the views, for all the likes and dislikes. You're still watching. Anybody who's bobbed across to Board Game Links to upvote the site or watch the videos over there, thank you very much. And similarly, if you've gone across to BGG to like the videos over there, to make a comment, to drop Geek Gold, anything like that, thank you so much. The help and support that you give is fantastic. Thank you all very much. All right. Oh yes, any errors I've made during this introduction video, just give me a shout. I may have got something wrong. As I say, the book is like War and Peace. And like Pencil Polly mentioned, yes, it's not written in Russian, but there is a lot to remember. So, yeah, any errors I've made during setup, please let me know and we can get those straight for the start of the game, and I'll go over whatever errors that I have made. Alright, but I think that is it so far. And what we can do is we can all settle back and get ready for the first episode, which will be long in the next couple of days. So thank you for watching. I hope to see you next time. But until then, this is me, Catweazle, signing off. Toodaloo.